when the professional sort of artists started taking up the art school and the storage facility, so they all thought it was professional. But they had an exhibit about a year and a half ago, some of this very work that was done in crafts. And Laurie's grandmother, a lot of local people took courses, and she did work in hammering design. The first year they had 2 convocations rather than make people sit through that long ceremony. But now they has a higher academic range, really exhausted. But before they closed the quarry, the university bought up a bunch of stone that can be used to repair the buildings as need be. So they have a bit in reserve.
Stone for the legislature.
This is the old Queen's Park. You had your chance.
Here we have the bale stack back on the back 40. The cows on the left.
Just didn't like them. They weren't the right style.
Now they're very proud
But you see a lot of ship paintings in the Maritimes because all the sea captains years ago would have had a painting of their ship. These things are still around. Most of them are in families, but a few have gotten into the galleries. But he had one of these in one of his Australian Canadian ones. He had this back building of a similar design. Laurie would have seen it, I guess. Oh, but it had these beautiful wooden columns in front, just like this, and they tried to duplicate it roughly in stone, but very neglectful of finances. And one stupid thing in university was to buy a huge stone mansion. You can see over there. He was a bachelor. He lived alone in this huge house, and he handed all this business to his sister. And any impermanent feel about it. Everything is very different. Antigonish in parts of it. You feel like you're in a frontier town. Sort of. This is a nice residential area here. There's a very famous, the way it used to be. But there's a nice dining room and then the old house. And when the Queen came to New Brunswick during the bicentennial celebration, she stayed here one night. And Laurie's parents used to bring them here. When they came down from Kingston, they used to spend the summers near here in the 60s and 50s. And they would stay here for a couple of nights before they got their little cottage sort of set up. And Laurie has very happy memories of being here when Mrs. Reed ran it.
It was given to the Reeds as a wedding gift. A wedding.
Would you like But it suits the church quite nicely, I think, but it's an unusual color. Owned by the Bennett family, cousin of Miss R.B. Bennett, and it was given to me some 10 years ago, I guess. Left to the university and is now facilities for the Canadian Studies program in my house. But it has a lot of the original Bennett furnishings inside. It's very beautiful. Unfortunately, these facilities are very expensive to maintain at the university. So it needs some painting.
Now it's cool though. It's up here.
And across the street, Lauren Harris Jr. lived when he was teaching here. I've never seen it. These murals? No, this house isn't terribly old. I mean, it would be... But there are many beautiful old houses in town, and some of them are quite old. Yeah. But of course, many of them now are not occupied by one family because they're too expensive to maintain.
Now, the money that built the Marsh Museum came from Rolling Stone. All
Well,
simply the quarry They
It's
make grindstones. And
for
there was quite a
mills.
grindstone trade with the United States.
That's the Deutsche House, the German
And
department.
then they were superseded by sort of artificial races. So it was a type of business. that
But
lasted
when we go
long.
to the Marshlands Inn tomorrow, you'll see in the backyard there, they still have some huge grindstones from the days when the family made grindstones for mills around the province.
This is what in the Maritimes we call the Marble Orchard.
Is this the Protestant cemetery? No, I think there's a Catholic one as well.
Okay, we're looking at a church here that, what are the details?
It was built about 1817, and it's St. Anne's Westcock near Sackville, New Brunswick. You can see Sackville in the background across the marsh. And at one point, the clergyman here was Sir Charles G.D. Roberts' father. Roberts was raised in this area as well. So it's a very early church. It's about 1817, and it's part of the parish of Sackville. There are about 3 churches in this area that are served by the clergymen at Sackville.
Pebbles, isn't it?
Yes.
Every child is to go to Christmas. Say that.
The Stanley family used to go here at Christmas time, and Laurie once took her electric toothbrush as a Christmas gift.
To be blessed.
To be blessed.
Oh, that's...
And from there on, she never had any more cavities.
This is Boomer's Pond, a little pond outside of Sackville, and this is Frosty Hollow, a little community. This is an old inn, which was popular with university students back in the early part of the century. And I used to be able to come here and skate in the winter and have a cup of cocoa in the dining room, and it was run by a little old lady and her husband, and it was turned into a house later on in the 50s and 60s, and it's also a spot where the local fishing club have boats, and they come here and they stock the pond, and they fish, the members fish, and off to the left behind the bushes is a little dam which holds the water in the pond, and there's a small island out in the middle of the pond as well.
And Laurie's parents once owned this.
Yes, they owned it. They came in 69 and owned it until they moved to Silver Lake. There are a lot of ducks on the pond, and there are a lot of water lilies. It's a very pleasant spot. Laurie's parents were always terrified because children would come out here and swim and go boating, and she was always afraid that they would go too close to the dam and go crashing over the dam.
So it's a dammed stream, is it?
Yes, and there was I'm not sure if there was a mill here or what there was.
Oh, yeah. And we just saw a historic marker saying that this was the ancient Indian portage for Indians traveling I presume from the Bay of Fundy over to the other side.
Yes.
It describes on the plaque that this is a route between Acadia and Quebec. So what did you see, ladies?
What did we see? Should we tell them? Yeah. Well, we saw that the pond is actually a lake, would be termed as a lake in Alberta. And it's very pretty. This is a boathouse, and it is still housing 3.
Okay, we're looking at the home here of Mr. Chandler, one of the fathers of Confederation, near Dorchester, New Brunswick. The home is for sale at the moment, but they're having difficulty selling it, partly because they're near Dorchester Penitentiary. It's also there'll be a lot of maintenance and upkeep in keeping it, but it's very nice property, and it's
recently been restored.
recently restored. That's local stone, I would presume, some type.
I'm sure it would be. It has it's very traditional inside. It has a center hall plan and a beautiful spiral staircase. Right up to the 3 stories. 3-story spiral staircase. And when you walk into the front hall, there are stone flagstones on the floor. It's a beautiful big door.
So when would this have been built, approximately?
Perhaps as early as the 1820s. It's early 19th century. Yes, there was a wooden wing at the back for summer kitchen or something that was burned down by some children at one point.
Looks like we have a Presbyterian church here.
I'm not sure. There's a Catholic and Anglican and Presbyterian. This is the Memramcook River Valley, the Memramcook River, and it's a tidal river, which means that the ocean water comes up the river and brings silt twice a day as the tide goes in and out, and eventually the river becomes silted up rather. But you can see it's a very fertile river valley. It became one of the main settlement areas for the Acadians in the 17th century. So after the deportation in the 1750s, English settlers came in here, but eventually some of the Acadian settlers who'd been deported also came back and took over their traditional lands. A lot of these lands, especially near Sackville, were actually under sea level, and they were reclaimed using dikes and locks called avios or avions. And yes, they let they keep the salt water out, but they also allow the excess fresh water to go out.
And this is the Trans-Canada Railroad again?
That's right. Comes from Montreal through to Halifax.
I guess originally the Intercolonial. Here we are at Fort Beauséjour, near, where are we, near Amherst, Nova Scotia. Just had an interesting tour of the collections in there, showing the early history of Fort Beauséjour and the collection of Dr. Webster. As we can see, it's a rainy day, We're looking out onto the tidal marshes, disappearing into the fog, gloom, rain. French soldiers
Oh no!
have been attacked.
I'm going to ask us a question.
What does this mean?
Bonjour. Hello.
Whoa.
Hi. Glad I look so lovely for the camera today. My name is Maureen and I'm with the Canadian Park Service, and we're just conducting a survey of visitors to Poposejo to help us plan for the future of the park and to make sure that it best serves the interests of all its visitors. Would you mind answering a couple of questions?